What's going on, Duck Nation, College Football Nation? This is UODuckBros back with another video, and we are looking forward, and I'm saying looking forward for a very good reason. We're looking forward to Arizona.
Good old cacti and wildcats.
Now, I don't like Arizona very much.
Never have.
Not saying that I disrespect their program, because I don't. I mean, they got a cool program. I like their jerseys. They're pretty nifty looking. They run the spread offense. Rich Rod isn't a bad coach for that type of thing. But there stands a very, very special place in my heart for how much I hate Arizona.
Look no further than the Jeremiah Masoli game.
Well, yes, but
just the fact that they were pre-celebrating.
I think that, well, yeah, and
they
were throwing water bottles at our cheerleaders and decked one in the face, which was pretty fucked up.
Classy.
But the main reason why I don't like them is because of the whole Dennis Dixon debacle. They didn't really have anything to do with it per se because he just blew his knee out.
It's just bad memories. It's been a nightmare for a long time there.
It's bad memories. And there have been some damn good games in the last decade or so with Oregon and Arizona, namely like the 2009, 8, 9. Wow, that was a hell of a pass.
Yep.
2009 in Arizona, the overtime, double overtime, whatever, game where Oregon was pretty much dead in the water, really, and they came back and won the game anyways, and I think I had like 62 heart attacks that day.
You've probably had more heart attacks than anybody I've ever known.
And I actually look okay for having that many heart attacks. I mean, you'd think after a guy has two, man, he's just pretty much knocking on Satan's door at that point. Even though I don't know why he'd be knocking on his door and not the Grim Reaper's door. I don't know.
Or any door.
Maybe they hang out a lot. I don't know. But it's just the type of thing where whenever Oregon has to play Arizona in Arizona, I just never feel good about it. Now, I'm not saying that Oregon's going to lose this game because they're not. They really are not going to at all. But it's just like you get that feeling in the back of your brain or anywhere else, I guess. You get that weird feeling in the pit of your gut that you just... It has the potential of being that game again where you don't know why it turns out that way because Oregon is completely superior to Arizona in just about every way I can picture it, besides maybe...
running back.
Yeah, running back, because Kadeem Carey is really, really good. I like that guy. If there's any one player I like on Arizona's team, I like Kadeem Carey. I really do. That is a damn good running back, but that's pretty much where it stops.
Oh, yeah, I mean... We don't really need to spend a lot of time talking about anything on their offense because he is the offense.
Pretty much, because let's just be honest.
B.J. Danker is not going to be running for 190 yards on our defense.
He is not the answer. He is definitely no Matt Scott. If Matt Scott was still there, I would be a lot more concerned about this game. But he's not. Therefore, I don't really feel that bad about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like just because, we're not going in there ranked number 2 in the country.
Yeah, there's something to be said about Oregon being ranked number 2, or even number 3 in some cases, i.e. Stanford, but I don't know. It's the number 2 thing that really never makes me feel good about my life. I mean, it's awesome. You're number 2.
I mean, we're still going in there with, we're
number 5.
Number 5. And we have a BCS bid here for the Rose Bowl. There's still a lot on the line here, and they would love nothing more than to ruin it. Well, for the second time this year, something gets ruined. But, I just feel like if we go out and play
a clean game,
it doesn't have to be flawless. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just a clean game.
It needs to be a good game of football.
We should have no problem winning by 20, like 20 plus.
Because, let's be honest, Arizona's defense is not Utah's defense. It certainly isn't Stanford's defense. So if you think that Oregon's going to have a third game in a row of their running game not really clicking, you're sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
And if you really think that you're going to be able to slow down Mariota, maybe in running, sure, because his knee's not healthy right now completely.
But every week that he gets more time to heal,
it's getting better.
It's getting better.
But he's doing some stuff in the passing game, and I mean a lot. I mean, he just had a 76% completion rate last week against a pretty salty Utah defense.
Yep.
And I don't see it being any better for you guys. I really don't.
Yeah, I feel like I expect a lot from Thomas Tyner. I expect a lot from Byron Marshall because, I still feel like even though Byron had a decent game, I still feel like he has a lot to prove just because of the fact that, he just was – I don't know what it was about the Stanford game. I mean, obviously, I know they're deep.
It was the high expectation. His dad went out and
anyway, it doesn't really matter about family members talking to the media or not, whatnot. It's just the fact that he just didn't play good, and he didn't run ball. He didn't run the ball hard. He was running like he was a freshman again, and he still didn't run that great against Utah. He had a couple touchdowns and whatnot, but I just feel like Thomas Tyner, Byron Marshall are going to have a coming out of this game. I think that they're going to run the ball with authority.
On track, essentially.
Right. And I still expect our receivers to play like they have all season for the most part and still get some big plays, some big chunks down the field. I expect Mariota to be able to have a lot of time in the pocket to look around because they play a 3-3-5 defense, which really doesn't put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So
no, it eliminates the big play downfield.
Right.
Oregon still has the athletes that you can make those plays.
If Oregon has to turn into a team where you give them 10 yards a pop until we get a touchdown, then we can do that too. We can play that game. But I feel like regardless of however they decide to try and give us looks on the defensive side of the ball, I feel like Oregon's just going to be
what I'm really liking?
That much more prepared.
You know what I'm really liking? I don't know why it took them 10 weeks to figure this out. But they finally decided to start using DeAnthony Thomas in the slot. I don't know why it took them that long to figure it out. But he is so much more dangerous there. I mean, he's still dangerous coming out of the backfield as a running back, but he is not a running back by design. He's just not. He's more of the running back wide receiver hybrid, and I think that he forces the defense to have to stretch out that much more because you put him out there, you can't not account for him because if he gets the ball and you leave him open, see you later.
I'll tell you the one encouraging thing that I saw in this game, too, was the emergence of Evan Bayless to be added to the already nice tandem between Pharaoh Brown.
Yeah, Pharaoh Brown, by the way.
I know.
That dude is a man.
Pharaoh Brown, Evan Bayless, and now you've got Johnny Munt, and you have all three of them on the field at once to go along with whatever wide receivers we want to throw out there.
Oh, that is nuts. That's what it is.
I mean, it's just like every week you see something different from somebody else that contributes in a way, and you're just like, well, where was he at all season?
And that is what I love about Scott Frost.
Yeah.
There are some play calls that he's done that I was kind of about it.
Right.
But at the same time, then he does stuff like that where, he brought in Pharaoh Brown, he brought in Evan Bayless, he brought in Johnny Munt. All guys that you didn't really think you're going to see a whole lot of it this year, and he's kind of getting them all in little
well, the vacancy of Colt obviously has a lot to do with
that. Has a lot to do with it, but he's utilizing them all. He's not just saying, hey, Johnny Munt, you had a great game with Tennessee. You're going to be our guy all the way for the rest of the season. He's developing players. And that's how you build great teams is that obviously you want to have great starters, but you want to be able to have depth on your bench and just in case worst case scenarios happen, and that's what he's doing. And I think that's a really important thing to do, especially in games like this where Arizona is still a good team, but you want to still be able to find ways to develop those players in little key situations.
Well, for Evan Bayless, who had a couple nice catches, the main reason why DeAnthony had that kick return against Utah is because of his block.
No kidding.
His block was absolutely...
His block made the play.
Made the play happen because actually, really, that coverage on that kickoff was spot on. But he blew that guy off the line.
And that's what gave him the lane. You don't have
So
that
those
block.
are the little tiny things that you see from guys that are trying to get on the field that have talent. And then it got him in the game, and he had a couple nice catches. And so you're going to see more of him probably now because he's earned some playing time.
He's making the most of his opportunity.
So it was nice to see the emergence of him because we knew coming out of high school he was a talented kid. Mm-hmm. But, because we're so deep at tight end, you didn't really know if he was going to be able to see the field that often. And now it's nice to see that he's able to make some plays happen, make some things go right in the special teams game. And, it's just another weapon for Oregon going forward. for the Zona game, forward for the Civil War, and then hopefully for the Pac-12 championship and beyond. So,
one little tiny thing I want to address, and I don't want to make a big deal out of it because, we've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but DeAnthony Thomas had to go out and say something again. I'm not wild about it. I don't know if you guys heard about it or not, but somebody asked him what he thought about, the potential Rose Bowl berth and whatnot, and he just kind of, I don't know, he did one of those. I mean, we've already won one of those, so whatever. I think he said it's whatever. Actually, was the actual quote there. He's like, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I don't like it, obviously, because
I understand the attitude though, because you want the natty and that's it.
And they had it in their fingers.
But the thing that I'm thinking as an athlete, because obviously I'm not a D1 athlete or I've never been anything close to that, but just as an athlete who's played sports and is competitive, if you still have something to play for, you got to embrace that and say, hey, you know what? We may not be able to do this, or that's out of our control, but we still have this to do, and we still have 5 straight BCS bowl games, 2 Rose Bowl appearances maybe in 3 years, and the fact that you could, you could get another Rose Bowl. I mean, Rose Bowl's outside of the championship game is the biggest bowl game of the year, so
it's the granddaddy of them all for a reason, my friends.
I would be more than happy to go get a Rose Bowl every single year.
The thing that, and you can take it at face value. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever heard. But the last thing you want to have your players doing, and it may only be just him, but the last thing you want to have is, and the perfect example of this was Florida in their bowl game last year. I mean, they wanted the championship. They didn't quite get it, and so when they got their BCS bowl berth, none of them wanted it. They're like, well, this is cool, whatever, and they went and got shellacked by Louisville. I mean, that's what you don't want.
Alabama and Utah.
Yeah, Alabama and Utah.
Alabama didn't want to be in the Sugar Bowl; they wanted to be in the title game, and they just got absolutely blasted.
And that's what you don't want. Like as a fan, I mean, obviously, we can only say so much, but
as an upperclassman, though. You're setting the tone for those younger guys.
He's one of the leaders of that team. You can't have that type of mindset.
That mentality doesn't set well for the rest of the team. If you got guys that are looking up to you and you're saying, the Rose Bowl is whatever, that's what those young guys, a lot of these guys on the West Coast grew up, that's the bowl game. Anybody west of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, the Rose Bowl is
the game. Just like anybody else in their region, whatever bowl game that is the game. For us, it's the Rose Bowl.
For Big Ten guys, the Rose Bowl is the game.
So
just like the SEC.
Just to hear that, I guess, was kind of a little bit disheartening. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a huge deal, but
no, but it's. I think more of it, outside of just it being said, was the fact that it's the second time that he said something that was noteworthy like that. I mean, the 40 points at Stanford thing, and now there's this over the span of 3 weeks.
Right.
I don't know. It's something that, and I don't want to be that guy to bash on Mark Helfrich, but it's the type of thing that when Chip Kelly was here, you never heard anything like that. I don't even know if the players were even allowed to talk to the media without his say-so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to say it because it's too early. I mean, he's only, we're 10 games into the season now for him.
It's just something like...
He's a nice guy.
I love Mark Helfrich. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say I don't like him. It's just that you gotta be able to micromanage that type of stuff to not give unwanted publicity is essentially what I'm saying.
Right.
So
So anyway, I mean, as far as the Arizona game goes, let's get some score predictions. What do you have for this game?
It's the second video in a row we've totally just gone away from it completely. But in this one, I think that this is going to be Oregon now that they kind of have. The momentum. Now that they're back in the driver's seat, I think they're going to take full advantage of that, and they're going to come out playing with their hair on fire again, even though most of them probably don't have hair. Weird. But I think they're going to it's going to be 52-21. I think that, Arizona, they are a spread offense team. They can score points. I mean, they did put up 30-something rather on USC. I mean, it was Lane Kiffin USC, but it was still USC. And I don't know. I think they'll still score points, but again, it's going to be a similar fashion where they score some of that after the game is way out of hand already. So,
yeah, it's pretty similar, except I've got 55-24.
So, kind of give a little extra.
Yeah, I think
give a little bit.
I really don't like odd numbers. So I just picked an even number. I hope they don't get 24 points.
Oh, you don't like them having it,
right?
Okay, I was like, you definitely picked an odd number.
No.
Okay,
I mean, I don't like the for whatever reason, I'm just not a big fan of the opponents having odd numbers.
All right.
So I'm going with 24.
So you're giving them a field goal then?
I'm giving them a field goal.
Okay. Well, I understand.
So anyway,
I think it's going to be another game where Mariota has another sterling game throwing the ball. He may run the ball a time or two. Just depends on the situation, I guess. And then Byron Marshall is going to he's going to turn it on a little bit. And I think the Tiner's going to have a long run in this game. So
that's
what that's going to be.
Let's hope for the best.
So this, my friends, as we have now run out of time for things to talk about, this is UODuckBros saying thanks for sticking around, listening to the rant, even though it really didn't need to be in this video, but I did it anyways. And as always,
go Ducks!